Good day, I'm Rala Villabiano from BSNG-1, and today I want to talk about something we all experience: stress. It's a normal part of life, whether it comes from work, school, relationships, or unexpected situations that throw us off balance. No matter who we are, stress affects us in different ways, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. There are moments when we feel like there's too much to handle, when things don't go as planned, or when we simply feel exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally. And while stress is unavoidable, what truly matters is how we manage it. Over time, I've found ways that help me cope, stay grounded, and move forward. And that's what I'd like to share in this video. One of the first things I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed is isolating myself. Some people might think isolation is a bad thing, but for me, it's necessary. It's not about pushing people away, it's about giving myself space to process my emotions. When things feel too much, I need that quiet moment to sit with my thoughts, understand what I'm feeling, and figure out how to move forward. I've learned that before I can deal with a stressful situation, I first need to understand myself, what's really causing my stress, how I feel about it, and what I can do to handle it. Another thing that really helps me is walking. There are times when I don't even notice how long I've been walking. My mind just drifts away and my feet keep moving. It's like my way of escaping, but in a healthy way. And walking allows me to release the heaviness I feel inside. Sometimes I don't even try to think of solutions. I just walk, let my thoughts flow naturally, and by the time I stop, I realize that my mind feels a little lighter. I also find comfort in listening to sounds of nature: birds chirping, the sounds of ocean waves, or even just soft, calming music. These sounds help me create peaceful space in my mind, even when my surroundings feel chaotic. It's like a small reminder that despite everything I'm dealing with, there's still peace and beauty in the world. And sometimes that's all I need to step away from the noise and just listen to something that makes me feel calm. And of course, prayer. Prayer is one of the most important ways I manage stress. When things feel out of control, praying reminds me that I don't have to carry everything alone. It gives me comfort, strength, and a sense of direction. I know that no matter how overwhelmed I feel, I can always find peace in Him. And it helps me let go of things I can control and trust that everything will fall into place in time. But even with these ways of managing stress, there are moments when things feel too much. There are days when I just feel so overwhelmed that the only thing I can do is cry. And I've learned to allow myself to do that. I don't stop myself from crying because I know that bottling up emotions will only make things worse. So instead, I let myself feel everything. I cry if I need to. I release all the emotions weighing me down. And then when I'm ready, I pick myself back up. I remind myself that it's okay to have moments of weakness as long as I don't stay stuck in them. Another thing I've learned is that while I prefer to deal with things on my own first, there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. There were times when I thought I had to handle everything alone, that I had to be strong and independent no matter what. But I've realized that seeking support isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-awareness. If I truly need someone to talk to, I allow myself to open up, whether it's to a close friend, a family member, or anyone I trust. However, I usually do this after I've taken the time to process my emotions. For me, thinking things through first before reaching out helps me communicate better and understand what I really need from the conversation. At the end of the day, stress is something we can't completely avoid. It will always be there in different forms at different points in our lives. But what I've learned is that the way we respond to stress makes all the difference. We all have different coping mechanisms, and what works for one person might not work for another. That's why it's important to find what helps you, what allows you to regain your balance and keep moving forward. For me, it's isolating myself to think, walking to clear my mind, listening to calming sounds, praying for guidance, and allowing myself to feel everything before I fully move forward. And through it all, I remind myself of one important thing. No matter how hard things get, I have to be kind to myself. Because at the end of the day, The person who will always be there for me is myself. So if you're feeling stressed, I hope you give yourself the time and space you need to process things. I hope you find what helps you feel okay again. And most importantly, I hope you remind yourself that stress is temporary, and no matter how tough things get, you are strong enough to overcome them. Thank you for listening, and I hope you take care of yourself, especially during stressful times.